Hi everyone and welcome to your horoscope for the week of June the 20th, 2022. We have a really active, intense and powerful sky where there is a lot of different energy at play. There is a very strong karmic presence which, strangely enough, this is even strange for me. This isn't something I personally experienced before in my life. That scorpionic eclipse which we had in May, well, that still lingers. That is still producing effects in so very many different ways. Now, of course, in a certain way, it does make sense, let's say alchemically, the south node in the sign of Scorpio, and there is a lot of cleansing to do. There is definitely a lot of cleansing, and I'll speak about this in a little bit later because this is a little bit more theological, so to speak, but there is a lot of other type of energy in the sky where we need to take action. There is an inner motivation, an inner restlessness building up, and it's multidimensional. So even that in itself is something that many of us have not experienced before in any way, shape, and form. So there is that weirdness. New beginning, we're getting ready. Basically, we're attuned to the cycle of nature. So, of course, we have this collective urge. But what we're actually experiencing right now is getting ready, but not anyhow. This is where something inside of us is getting, I do believe the right term to use here is super refined. This is where it's not just purified. This is where it's not just alchemical purification. It's super refinement. As in, okay, purity. We get 2019, 2020, 2021, a lot of scorpionic activity in other ways, and Neptune's almost permanent presence in the third decan, the scorpionic decan of Pisces, that's profoundly transformative and cleansing in itself. It's really, really, it's like washing out an infected wound with that solution, the brine, basically. I'm not really sure how they call that right now, but you get what I'm saying. So that Neptune is permanently cleaning the wounds, washing away the infection. And if more infection comes up, well, it just has to wash it away. That's the cleaning process, and there was a lot of infection in the world because Neptune in the third decan of Pisces, that's the proper finality. That's where, when Neptune enters the sign of Aries after 2026, if I'm not mistaken, well, you can imagine that's not any new beginning. That's where, that's like a powerful rebirth where humanity in itself takes breath. Before that, humanity just took breath. After that, through humanity takes breath as a yoga master, how you call them. The divine breath. Just breath, the divine breath. We have to be honorable vessels, honorable species, honorable age of Aquarius, both collectively and individually. And what is Saturn teaching us right now in Aquarius, in its ancient ruling sign? Okay, be distinctive, unique, your truly original self. Do not let anything but authentic and original satisfy you, absolutely. But there is a fine line, Saturn, between original and chaos turned into a sudden spontaneous creation which is beautiful. But there is something when it's forced. This is when you're provoking it. And then what is born out of that many times, it's not beautiful. It's unique, it's authentic, but it's a monster. And Aquarius has that monstrous side to it, absolutely. And we will be seeing the monstrous, the shadow, the side of Aquarius that humankind maybe only saw in Genghis Khan's era, let's say, of what Pluto in the sign of Aquarius represents. Don't get me wrong, 2024 is gonna be the 0 degree, so that's a lot of activation building up. That's the good side. That's the actually the delightful part, because Pluto is also power, Pluto is also confidence. Pluto in Aquarius, the first thing it will do, the power of the people, the power of a collective mind, the power of a collective whatever. Absolutely beautiful, building, healing ourselves, truly being as intimate with another soul as possible. This is where the game changes profoundly if we don't wipe ourselves out before 2024. Yes, so but Saturn is teaching us that all of that is coming, yeah, but you need to be a worthy vessel. You need to purify your principles. Okay, the scorpionic energy is helping you emotionally, spiritually, karmically, in any way, shape, and form, but mentally, it's up to you. Saturn is in Aquarius. This is where the purity you have to transfer in your mind. All the Gemini energy, Gemini, North Node in Gemini, in the past 2021. So, 2020. So, yeah, that was very, very important, because we have to transfer healthy belief, healthy ether, healthy divine structure into the mindset as well, mind, the lower mind, everything that has to do with beautiful thoughts. This is where, if you walk out of the house, and even if there is a lot of disruption around you, like people being depressed and not, but if you see the beauty of the flower and it makes you dream, it makes you this and that, it makes you just, and gives you, it puts you into like a more elevated state, even just slightly than you were. Well, that means that you are doing it, living it. That means that your mind is beautiful and it seeks beauty, it seeks harmony, it seeks this and that, all the good stuff, the sugar and spice. So you just have to be yourself. But if you go out and your mind sees the doom and gloom in everything, and the bitterness in people, and nothing's perfect and everything's ugly, that's a problem. That's a problem, because you're suiciding, but in a way that it is invisible to you and you don't even know you're doing it. So this is what Gemini taught us that, how to put that into practical thinking. But now Saturn in Aquarius is making us up the game. Okay, you achieved beautiful thinking. Now, put it in your work, put it in your love life, put it into everything that you do, because if you put it in, you communicate it. If you communicate it, it's infectious. Love, niceness, kindness, just wanting to see the good is infectious. And maybe that powerful attitude in itself, that mental state, that mental projection, it's mental, it's not emotional. It's mental, it's not karmic, it's just the mind. Makes you magically, totally be, let's say, invisible to toxic narcissists, serial killers, all the worst kind. You don't do anything physically and you're invisible to them. You are not on the victim list, not even ethereally. You shift out from that dimension because of the mind. And that's just mind. You can be a dark soul. A dark soul. But if the dark soul manages to convince the mind the beauty of all, the mind will carry the soul in any dimension it wants. But this is something which I should probably not speak about right now. So back to the horoscope. Why am I saying this? Because Saturn retrograde right now is really making us responsible for our thoughts, for our way of thinking, to rationalize feelings and emotions. And the first energy that is highly influential this week is Venus square Saturn retrograde. And also we have powerful energy shifts. So not only is there a lot of tension in the sky, inside of us, in the world out there, and a militaristic expression as well, which I'm going to be speaking about later on. But there is also unexpected, sudden, and also forced change. Because on one hand, the Cancer solstice, the moon, the sun leaving the sign of Gemini and activating the sign of Cancer. Summer is here. That's an awakening. The summer is here. That means the way we took care of ourselves, now we are flowers. So your beauty, and I'll get to the beauty in a moment, is the way you are. So what you attract is what you've done with yourself. Because the flower reflects the plant, what the plant has done, what nutrients it took, and etc. If you are a good gardener, now you're beautiful, so you're attracting a lot of necessary building materials in your life. You right now are in panic mode because it's perceived as hardship. The not wanted friend who insists and you don't know why. The not wanted lover, the not wanted this and that pet. The not wanted pet, yeah. So you wonder why this was the last thing I needed. Karma, the good karma. This is where just the universe, it's insisting because it's hard. The friend, the person, the job, the opportunity, the project, the inner calling, whatever is insistent. It's not tuning down, not going away. So you know that something's at work here. It manifests as whatever is insisting. This is where you have to let it in and just work with it. Believe in yourself that you can do this. You're calm enough, collected enough, lucky enough, something enough to be okay. So Saturn square Venus, but this also means difficult choices, because there are certain things that we have to accept about ourselves. An emotional maturization call. This aspect is not something fantastic because it happens a lot, but in the year 2022 it is fantastic because it has a karmic charge like none other. And there was a lot of North Node in the sign of Taurus. Venus is responsible for a lot right now, as Mercury was last year. So Venus is really the director of things, but in a subtle way, of our feelings. And if our feelings and emotions are honest, Saturn square Saturn, then even if we have to make hard choices, this person cannot come with me in my future, not because I have something against, because their morality is not like mine. For some people it will be this. Saturn is demanding of morality. Aquarius, if you want to be part of a good group of friends, the good part of society, the good this and that, high quality Saturn, then you have to change everything. Friends, other people who you share your energy, time, whatever with, are energetic connections that have to be severed. You cannot take their energy in a different personal dimension, so to understand. Because if you're upgrading, you're moving up. Even physically, let's take an example. This, for a lot of people, this will be the case. You were offered a better position in your job, but something which is really good. Like, okay, you worked for it, secretly you wished it, and now you get it. And you find it hard to say goodbye to your colleagues. Venus square Saturn, this will be painful. Yes, they will be happy for you, and for them, it's a different kind of pain. You will be happy for yourself, but sad for yourself, really, because your heart still wants to be with them. Is it positive or negative? You can't even polarize this. This is what this fixed square is telling us. It is what it is. We have to take it as such. A moment of goodbye, or an emotional reality check, or for a lot of people, this is where they just wake up from 10 years of nightmare like this. In a sudden, with like magic happened, a miracle happened. You woke up one morning and you realized that your partner not only doesn't deserve you, but you're such an attractive person, you're committing a crime for being with. And you ask, okay, you do this, your life changes. In a week, let's say, in a week you're like living your life. But you still think to yourself, what happened to you this 10 years? Were you drugged or what happened to you? How was that you and 10 years of your life? And it wasn't you. This is why this square, Venus-Saturn square, is not the way it ever was before, so to speak. Because this is an astrological energy, the clock ticks this way many times. As in, every year, there's a Venus-Saturn square. But not with this karmic charge, not with this psycho-emotional collective charge from all of us. We're not, never the same as, our species is not the same the way it was, ever. And there is another type of energy, Venus trined by Pluto retrograde. This, whatever hard decision it is, love hurts after all, but the more it hurts to say goodbye to the colleagues, this example that I used, well, you can imagine that the more beautiful everything and authentic everything is, what the universe is telling you with that, your love and your colleagues' love is real, and don't worry, because you are gonna remember these people and talk periodically, update with these people, perhaps until all of you guys die, in the sense you expire, your life expires, because this is how lifelong friendships are built. And what's special, that none of you guys in the colleague group bring the filth. Everyone brings the joy from home, from the self, from whatever. And of course, beautiful things are born like this. So this is really the message here, how beautiful love and friendship, and how, this is a hard word, collegiality, colleagues, to be colleagues with someone. How hard that is. I mean, how beautiful that is. Yes, it's hard, because it's very hard to respect a lot of people at the same time, but it's so rewarding, trust me. It's the most rewarding thing in existence. And this Saturn, if you're one of those people who live by this principle, this square, Venus square, is the best kind of hardship you could possibly imagine. This is where everyone just loves you, and you just love everyone. And that's the hardship of it. And the Pluto trine, a decision, or you're empowered in a major way. You are sure of yourself, you know something, you feel something so profoundly that there is no second guess. So along with other aspects, this is where this week is definitely life-changing for a lot of people, or this is where the major life change phase 1, the alpha phase, begins. Another thing, we have a lot of anaretic energy. The sun at the beginning of the week in anaretic position of Gemini, 29 degrees of Gemini. Then ultimately Saturn is in an anaretic decan. Venus will be anaretic, so that's a lot of intensity. That's a lot of, Venus is also going to be meeting Algol in the sky. Venus is going to be meeting Sedna in the sky. So Venus has a lot of charge. Venus also is going to be holding a sextile with Neptune. This is where Venus is heavily alchemized. So the love in your heart, the truth in your heart, that which you feel deeply in your heart of hearts right now, that's a supreme power. Maybe the mantra for this love is gonna realize that this is it. This is the alchemical formula when something you love is gonna realize. So Mercury also holds a conversation with Jupiter, a sextile. So as I said, believing in yourself, believing in your thoughts, empowering your thoughts with confidence, with desire, with everything that Jupiter, truth, sometimes a divine elation, basically, where you just know that what you're doing is so divine it cannot go wrong. Like, I don't know, this is where you find a stray cat on the street and you just know that even if you're the most atypical person for it, you're just miraculously gonna find an owner without any effort. This is a belief that you feel inside, it's madness, and you act upon it. And before you get to the end of the street, you coincidentally meet a group of youngsters and they know a wet and they take it off you and take it to the wet. Problem solved for everyone. So this is where the universe helps you more than ever right now, because Jupiter is triggering stuff, but the good stuff. This is where you have a gun in your hands, but the bullet is not violence, but it's creation that you're shooting, if you know what I mean. You're just creating, co-creating, being a part of creation. Life, if you allow it, was never as rewarding and exciting as epic. Ultimately, Jupiter in the sign of Aries, epicness. And you feel it because it's in the head, it rushes as adrenaline. Whatever it is that you do. Your work, your relationship, you being a parent to a child with an additional need or a child with problems, you're a superhero. Pelastina meets the North Node. Pelastina is a very helpful energy. She wants to help. She cheats fate sometimes in order to help the disadvantaged. She's in Taurus. Also Venus rules over this energy. So the heart is capable of a lot of things this week. There is weirdness and strangeness as well, because at the beginning of the week the sun squares the moon, but the moon in Pisces, so, and the sun squares Neptune. So this means what's true, what is not true. Did he really mean it? Did she really? This is a lot of wishy-washiness. So you might not be in total clarity of your feelings, emotions, thoughts at the very beginning of the week. But there is also a quincunx between Sun and Pluto. What I would say is, be careful what you do with your power. Be careful what you do with your words, with your promises, with your social connections. Because it can go either way with a Pluto quincunx. Pluto is fated energy. Pluto is stark truth. This is where secrets, sun, pop out. Freudian projections. This is not a good week for liars. Not even professional expert fraudsters, liars, and anyone who wants to necessarily keep a secret. The unconscious will spit it out. You can't help it. It's like a reflex when you sneeze. You can't overmaster that. So at a week like this, if you're a criminal, I would suggest you keep low profile, because your unconscious will sabotage you. Now, if you are secretly in love with someone, you will project this. So this is where, if you're in like a platonic love or secret love and you don't want to share it, or you're in love with your best friend and you don't know how to tell them, this week you will spit it out somehow. So be careful. It's a quincunx. Fate, but then again, fate will find this as an opportunity. If you have this tendency to just feel that it's coming this week, the secret is coming out, or that means that fate is knocking on your door, so it will find a way. Don't even resist, just allow whatever. But also there's a lot of chance for misunderstandings, because Sun square Neptune, the media, the TV, what you hear in the news, mass hysteria. This is not going to be an easy energy for anything that has to do with, as I said, communication and mass media. and not even how authorities handle communication between each other, not even international communication. Not a very good week. And also a sextile is growing in power, where this Mars sextiles Saturn. Now the problem here is that Mars is not alone. Mars will meet his sister Eris in the sign of Aries. Mars is the ruler of this energy. Eris is super intensely strong. So this is an energy build-up which is interior, because Aries, the self, Aries, the individual, Aries, the person, the singular self, and Saturn in Aquarius. So you can imagine that Saturn and Mars, when they speak in a sextile, time to act, time to take action, time to speak. Aquarius, time to launch the project, time to do the work, time to stand up for yourself as a professional, time to shine, time to show, time to build, time to invest everything that you have in working for your goal, whatever that is. Even if it's not professional, as a family, you need this and that, as a parent, as a lover, as a dreamer, as an artist, as whatever it is that you are and embody, work for it right now. That's something positive, that's absolutely brilliant, empowering, and fruit bearing. Not right now, for some people, maybe right now, why not? Mars is quickness in the sign of Aries. That's instant, spontaneous. Maybe for some people, yeah, right now, or even before. For some people, this is where universe likes to make compliments, as in someone wakes up with a chunk of money in their bank, and a best friend says that I want to ask you a favor. I already know that you're gonna say yes, so here's the payment in advance. Just do it, and let's go out for a beer. So this is where sometimes there is a lot of good, genuine good in the sky, but the not so okay side, and it's a sextile. Should it have a not so okay side? Yes, because militaristic action. Eris. Eris is the trigger. Eris is the fire starter. Eris is between protesters, that single protester which can really incite, which is the spark, And Mars, extremely super powerful in his home sign. Mars is the lower malefic, Saturn is the greater malefic. Malefics working together, handshaking, cooperating. The universe doesn't discriminate. An opportunistic aspect of great empowerment is also the same for bad people, evildoers, con artists, manipulate enough, and those people who want to fight. Military action way. And there is a war ongoing, so this is not really good news for peace. Unless a third party comes in. But it's complicated, so this is neither not that brilliant news economically, because it's a sextile, but this is let's fix it. Let's start fixing it now, sextile. So that means got. That which is luxury is got. If you, for example, I'm not saying it's your case, but if a good chunk of your income is a risk money, as in some kind of risk that you expose yourself to, I might not have the best news for you in the coming months, because they might want to cut everything that is not necessary off. And for those people who live in benefit system, I'm not saying that you'll be abandoned, but I'm saying that cuts, or making you somehow one way, shape or form work for it. But my timer is expiring, so I'll be back with the second part. Thank you for staying with me.